Good afternoon. It's 1:33, and I think we're about 3 minutes past starting time. So let's open the meeting, and would like to remind people to do what I'm doing and turn their cell phone off so it doesn't ring when we're not that it happens frequently. There we go. All right. The first item of business is to approve the minutes from the previous meeting, which was September meeting. The board has reviewed these minutes via email, and we need a motion now to approve the minutes. Do we have a motion? Nancy is putting forth the motion. Is there a second? Second. Scott is putting forth a second. Do we have a vote? Or do we have any more discussion first? No more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay. The minutes are approved and will be put onto the internet shortly. Okay, let's go to financials and management review. Rita?
All righty. It's hard to believe that we're already in the fourth quarter of this year. Just sitting here thinking about it, I feel like we're in November already. Let's see here. Yes. At the end of September, our financial position shows a monthly revenue of $519,906, which puts us in favorable position relative to the budget, of exceeding it approximately of $113,000. Our total expenses for the month amounted to $465,000, which is about $29,000 below our forecast, and contributes to an overall favorable position of $16,000 for the year. Currently, our total net income for the year stands at $847,102, which surpasses the budget by approximately $130,000. Our total cash in our reserves is $2,720,391. Our operating cash ended at $387,806 for a total of $3,108,197. In September, we experienced approximately about $185,000 in one-time cash payments that do not occur every month. We allocated $55,000 for a draw on the B elevator, $43,000 for Vertipacks, $54,000 for tax liability, $19,500 for our quarterly insurance payment, and $14,000 towards the water mitigation and repair that's related to the beauty salon supply line breakage. Like I said, that's about $185,000, which is why our operating cash is a little bit lower in September. Moving on to dining services. In September, we served a total of 5,947 meals, which means we subsidize approximately $13.39 per meal for the month. Nothing really notable as far as that. Sales and leasing, we've got 4 units for sale and 2 units for lease. Our total sales as of October 4th for the year was $4,158,883. Like I said, if you know of a unit that's not listed on here for sale, we do not know about it for sale or lease. Any questions?
Okay. All right, let me review what we did with the executive meeting. We talked about the contracts for the parking deck in particular. The parking deck contract, we have elected to go with engineered restorations, and we are currently negotiating, you might say, or not revising, not negotiating, but we are working on to get clarity on the contract with them. Their bid was 1.1, right at 1.1 million to do the parking deck. And we will finalize that contract next week with the little wording changes that are going on. and they will begin work probably in 2 weeks. So we will anticipate what goes on there. Parking for that will be something we're still evaluating and trying to come up with a correct solution on where the cars will go at the time. The whole parking deck will not be closed, so it'll be just section by section as we work on that. There'll be more details coming out on that when we have the final for you to understand. Also, we talked about the chases again, and we are in negotiations with a company to do the drawings and do a final evaluation to get drawings that will be permittable to the city. And we have our good first meeting with them basically next week on the Wednesday, the 13th.
November 13th.
November 13th, right, excuse me, I'm sorry, November 13th, right. The websites are under review again and working on, and the one for PCC is about ready to launch. So we'll be doing that, and then the new website for Mount Vernon Towers will be shortly after that. The furniture, the koala furniture that we have had in storage for a while is to be moved Tuesday of next week to the real estate office down here, where it will then be distributed to the areas it's been identified for, or it will be sold off so we can work through the koala furniture. Those are the items that we talked about in the executive committee. All right, let's go to board-led groups, and I guess architectural committee is the first one on that. And much of what the architectural committee has been involved with was just discussed. We did not meet since the last meeting of the board, and we will be. What you got? Oh, okay. Rita is reminding me to talk about roof anchors. We are in the process of, again, getting quotes to put anchors on the roof that can be used to suspend what is called swing stages to access the whole side of the building. These will be, like I said, we're working on getting those, to get contracts put together on that to find out who can do it for what price. That will help us with the chases, and it will help us with future repair and maintenance of the building outside surface. That's well underway. We look forward to having that pricing in soon. All right. We want to turn this now over to Scott and let him talk about the Finance Committee.
Okay. For those of you that don't know, my name's Scott Goins, resident owner B1001. I have trouble speaking in public, so you'll have to excuse me. The finance team met on October 16th to review the 2025 budget information. At the meeting were Rita Malone, Scott Carrier, Tricia Morris, Brian Greenberg, and myself. We looked at the Consumer Price Index for September from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We reviewed local inflation information, and Rita had gathered information on repairs, electricity, utilities, employee costs, and food costs. We use local information for a lot of this money, a lot of these items, so that we would know what we're buying locally. We'll get the budget team scheduled for their final meeting before the board and the community presentation. The board looked over the preliminary budget today at the meeting we just had. We have received a draft of the reserve study. The study is quite lengthy, and will take some time to review. After a preliminary review by Rita, we are waiting on some revisions on some of the information had wrong dates on it, so he's going to revise that. most of the affected items won't apply to 2025. The finance team will meet also to discuss the presentation to the board and the community of the reserve study. I have been asked by one of the residents to remind the community that the parking deck repairs will be paid for out of the reserve funds. We will not have any monies taken anywhere else for that project. Scott.
Thanks, Scott. Let's move on to the nominating, marketing, communications. Nancy and Tricia.
Hi, I'm Nancy Rogers. I'm going to report on the nominating committee. We have reviewed applications and approved 3 candidates for consideration by the HOA members. The 2 candidates for the outside owner position are Scott Carrier and Gary Conlon, and Scott Goins is the resident owner candidate. Cover letters, photos, and resumes will be distributed to owners at the end of the month. Meet the Candidate events will be held November 16th and 20th, and the votes will be counted at the December 16th annual meeting. Moving on to social activities, the trivia on October 9th and the Buy for Nothing October 8th were success. The travel group continues to identify new destinations. If you're interested in being added to the list, Peggy Garnier, contact her. The garden group made a field trip to take a container gardening class at Pikes, and I have some handout sheets if anybody wasn't able to attend and wants to know plants that are recommended for container gardening. The Monday High Rise Living Series continues through mid-November. The Lieutenant Fire Chief for Sandy Springs came last Monday and reviewed safety procedures and actions for drills and alarms with different tips for safety. And next Monday we'll feature our City Council woman will come and talk about updates on what the city is doing. There are lots of activities and events. Please check for times and locations in Towers Talk and the sign-up sheets by the mailroom. We also did about 30 people showed up for the Walk for Cancer, and that's it. Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah. So we did have the walk for the cancer walk, and all those pictures and videos are on the Facebook page. I encourage you to share that with your friends and your family members, because a lot of people are going on and liking these pictures, and it helps your relatives or your family members to see what's going on here. We also have new brochures for Mount Vernon and for PCC. They were just printed. We'll have, as Scott said, the website for PCC should be up within 2 weeks, I guess, and then we'll start working and getting the new website for Mount Vernon up. And that's it.
Do we have any other new board business that needs to be brought forth at this time? Okay, let's open the floor to questions. Do we have any questions? If you have a question, would you please state your name, and if you are a resident owner or an outside owner? Thank you.
Okay, this is on. I'm Mary Gwen in P502. Yeah, that's where I live. My question is about Morrison's. What are we going to do about Morrison's? The food, the service, everything has gone so far downhill that I'm planning dinners with people on my floor so that we have some decent food to eat. Is there a plan for that coming up, or getting rid of them?
Morrison's. Morrison's has continued to be a major topic of discussion since the contract was signed. The current situation is that Rita is working, I should say Rita and I are working with Morrison's to revise the contract to improve improve what's happening and to get better service, better food. They have not performed at all to the standards that they promised us. We don't have a definite course of action at this point in time, but that is something that we are currently very well aware of and know that we need to be able to improve and correct. We are still obligated under certain contractual wording that we cannot just dump them tomorrow and have nobody, but we're trying to work through with them to improve the situation and looking closely at where we go from here. What do we do for the next year and the next 2 and the next 3 and the next 4 years? Yeah.
So how long is that contract for? When is it up next?
The contract runs through February of 26. So basically there's 1 year and some months on this current contract.
I'll add that to my prayer list.
Add me as well.
Rita, according to my realtor, there are 2 other 1-bedrooms for sale listed on MLS. Why you don't know about it, I don't know, but that's what she's telling me.
Yeah, if the owners don't tell us, then we might not necessarily know. I don't know why they would list it and not let us know.
Yeah.
But
It's possible they've withdrawn them, but they didn't sell because they're not on your sale list either. So something happened there someplace. And they only bring it up to let the owners know that we've got 8 condos for sale or lease, not just 6. And Scott, as you're aware, I've been doing a lot of work on the value of our condos and what's been happening to it. I've uncovered a lot more information and would like to form a group of other owners to give me some assistance, verify what I've learned, come up with some plans and all that kind of stuff. And I've prepared a notice or invitation, whatever you want to call it, that I would appreciate if Rita could send it out to all the owners so that they know that this is available for them to join and participate in. And what it says, are you aware that the value of your MVT condo is decreasing? The most ever paid for a 2-bedroom was $325,000 in March of 2023, almost 2 years ago. The most ever paid for a 1-bedroom was $185,000 in January 2022, almost 3 years ago. Are you aware that other similar 55-plus condo communities have appreciated over 30% in the past 3 years? For example, 20 minutes from MVT in Decatur, Georgia, Claremont Place has about 200 condos offering independent living for seniors. Some say it is a nicer place. I disagree. It is in more of a suburban environment, while MVT is in more of a city environment. Their residents are similar to ours. Their facilities are similar to ours. Their services are similar to ours. But their condos are smaller, their HOA fees are dramatically larger and are increased for a second occupant. Owners have to provide and maintain their own appliances and HVAC units. Condos have limited views. Only limited security is provided, and it has a parking lot, not a garage. In spite of all these MVT advantages, their 1-bedroom condos sell for up to $300,000, and their 2-bedroom condos for over $500,000. On October 18th, last Friday, a 2-bedroom was listed for $512,000. It was the only Claremont Place condo on the market. By the time I arrived at 3:30 to see it, 2 other potential buyers had already been there. My realtor said condos there are rarely on the market for a month, and some experience bidding wars. Claremont Place does have a few advantages over us, but nothing that justifies their condos being worth almost twice ours and appreciating while ours lose value. I've also found another community with a similar history to Claremont Place. All that makes me very curious and nervous. How about you? I would like to form a group of 10 to 12 owners to address this issue. Our mission would be to confirm what I've learned, identify other MVT competitors and what they've experienced, analyze the MVT problem, develop potential solutions, implement action plans, etc. If you'd like to join this group, and I hope you do, please contact me, 706-851-6625 or dgcastle@gmail.com.
Dan, we'll be happy to look at that and take it to the board, and the board will discuss that proposal.
I'm Jeanette Austin, and I'm on the 10th floor, and I would like to discuss the budget. I'm greatly concerned about the upcoming assessment that we will have to pay. And since no date has been given for this assessment yet, I think we yet have some time to do something with the budget. My survey of the condominiums in this area have discovered that they are charging new owners a separate one-time membership fee. I think this would be a great idea for us. I realize this idea has been presented in the past and it was not voted on, but I would like to know how much we have to gain by creating such a budget and how this would help us pay for major expenses. This is a very old property. It does need to be kept up. It will get more and more expensive as time goes by with major construction, repairs, etc. And it needs to look good for people to want to buy it. So we need to keep it up, and we can bring the market price of the condos up in the process. So I would like to know from Rita, when this idea was first presented, had we accepted it at that time, how much income would now be in the budget and available? Thank you.
Yeah, so I've got the running total. We presented at the annual meeting in '22. We presented the fee to be a 2.5% buyer's fee, or initiation fee is what we called it, on all new sales. It would be pretty close to $300,000 had that have passed, because we're about $300,000. Because we sold $7,700,000 in '23, and we're at 4.1 in '24, so $300,000.
So $300,000 would have been collected up to this date?
Yes. Let me check my math here.
That's about right.
Yep, $297,990.
All right, may I speak? That would go a long way in helping us, and I don't think anyone here wants to produce a large sum of money to help pay for a major cost that is coming up soon that we should take care of. And so therefore, I would like to make a motion. May I do that now?
Please.
All right. I make a motion to collect a one-time owner's fee of at least $1,500 for all new condo owners to be budgeted for major repairs of the premises known as Mount Vernon Towers. Also, to postpone a vote on the currently proposed assessment fees until June of 2025, and at that time, recalculate the individual assessments.
We will take that under consideration because this is not a owner's meeting, it's a board meeting, so motions have to come forth from the board. But we will take that into consideration. Thank you.
Dave Wurtenberg, owner B305. I want to mention one thing. Dan's comment about the pricing difference, my thought has been all along that until we get the chases renovated, I mean, that information's all out there, and there's like the $6 million, the figure has been bounced around. So my thinking is that people aren't going to rush here to buy with that in the works. We've got that renovation plus the garage, which is going to improve this property tremendously. We've done renovations internally. We've got a few other things we want to do. But I think we're a little bit early to be able to expect those kind of prices. And one other thing, do you have a date yet on when the B elevator will be finished?
I just talked to him this morning. He said it's moving along quite well. I reminded him he's got to get Simplex involved for inspection, but we are still looking at about 4 more weeks.
Hi, Ellen Musser, A815, and this is probably a legal thing. Last month I couldn't attend the board meeting, and I said, I can watch it on our website under the owner's portable. Well, I found out it's not even there until it's approved here today, so therefore you can't even see it for 30 days.
The minutes are not posted from today's board meeting until next board meeting when they're approved, but the video, IT usually gets the video, I would say, within a week or so.
Well, it's not there for September. So.
When you log in,
Last night, yeah.
okay, you might need to clear your browser. It may be pulling up old.
I just want to respond to Dave. There's no doubt that when you have issues like that, that affects your market value, but not to the extent that we're seeing, Dave. And furthermore, Claremont Place actually went through a bankruptcy, and they survived that and are doing remarkably well. So let's not be too quick to put our head in the sand and say everything is going to be fine in the future, because it's not, unless we take some positive action.
Do we have any other comments?
Carol had something. Do you want to talk about the library?
I'm Carol Hanner in B1006. I have easy questions for you, so don't have to go crazy. Are the anchors going to go all the way around on all 4 sides of the building?
Yes, all 4 sides of the building will be serviceable using these anchors.
Okay. And with these new brochures, which I'm sure are wonderful, where will they be located?
So for the personal care center, everyone's going to get one in their door next week. Other than that, they'll be at the front desk for prospective buyers to come in, or when they get their packet at the front desk, which has the Tower Talk and the calendar and floor plans and so forth.
Okay, good. And also, I approve what Jeanette has been saying. I think that's something that we missed out on before. So.
Carol, do you want to tell them about the library, about your speaker?
Oh, also, our library, we have a book club that I'm sure everybody wants to join in. But anyway, this last Sunday of the month at 4 o'clock, we're going to have a speaker, and we expect a wonderful crowd. So we are going to be meeting in the sun porch, and the book is called Seeing Eye Girl.
anyway, it's a very good book. The author is a local, and she is a very good author and a good speaker. So we would all invite you all to join us here next Sunday at 4 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay, two more questions. Comcast, is it really coming and when?
Yes, it is really coming. We've got about 203 people signed up currently. The contract is currently going through legal, just to make sure there's nothing that stands out. But yes, once the contract is passed through legal and we sign it, it's going to take 3 to 4 months before the installation would be complete, because they're going to come into each individual condo that signed up and get each person set up.
Okay, and back to the dining room, just for one more thing. The crowding between the tables is getting so bad that people with walkers that come in later are sat into the back, and then they have to try to weave through. There's no real walkway for people with their scooters or walkers to go through.
Yes, technically walkers and scooters should be parked in the front of the dining room in the little area next to the piano to prevent hazards.
Unfortunately, there's some people that can't get to their table without a walker, so that would be.
What should happen is if they're sitting with a group and there's somebody at their table that can take the walker back up, or they need to ask their server to take the walker back up for them. Some of the residents will fight us not wanting us to take their walker back. But I see sometimes it's very much a hazard at dinner time, especially even for the servers trying to get through.
All right, well, thank you.
But what she was saying is you can't get the walker through to get to your seat because it's so crowded.
Oh, I mean, we've removed 7 tables in there. The problem is if we remove any more tables to have more space in between the aisles, it's just going to cut down on seating at night. And we can't really hold all the tables in the front for people who have walkers, because that will even get more difficult for seating. What are you proposing? Okay.
How about just maybe an aisle down the middle? That might help a little bit.
But, we can look at it, but that's what I'm saying. Where are you going to make an aisle without taking out tables?
It's like Tetris. You can figure it out. I'm sure we could do this. We have enough people in this area that we can figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay, we got one more hand back here, I see.
Speaking of the new Comcast system and all, I know nobody voted for having internet by itself. However, I realize that if you have an Alexa or smart speaker, whatever you want to call it, you've got to have internet. And so all these people that don't sign up for Comcast, they're going to have to try to find a way to get an internet.
Correct.
So, and I don't think anybody realized that.
We've had probably 45 meetings, and I don't know how many writings that we have stressed that you will not have any service in your condo if you do not take the Comcast package.
Okay, well, thank you for attending today. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Oh, next meeting, excuse me, right.
That would be...
I got it written down here. November 20th, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, because Thanksgiving's the 28th.
That's the 20th, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, the next meeting is scheduled for November 20th, and that will be followed by the annual meeting in December. November 20th for the next meeting. Motion to adjourn by Nancy. Second, Scott Goins. Those in favor? Aye. Motion adjourned. Meeting adjourned at 2:07. Thank you.